Hey everybody, Eric Sherman from Rockstar Computers once again. Just over here driving around again. We just picked up our hats and we're going to unveil those tomorrow. Pretty excited. They look great. Can't wait for you all to see them. We're going to do a big unveiling even for the guys tomorrow so that we can look more uniform. No, we just haven't had hats in a long time, and it's gonna be good to have hats again. I like wearing hats. I like being the anti. You know, I don't want to say their name in our video because then they might sue us and say that we're trying to be like them, but we're actually trying to be not like them. They are something that rhymes with Eekmod. And that brings me to another topic, and that topic is, where do we get our start? So, or why did we start? And so basically we started out as a company that just did consulting for other small businesses like real estate offices, doctors, dentists, lawyers, small businesses that had like less than 10 users, and we'd go in there and we'd do virus removals and do network troubleshooting and set up routers and set up printers and just kind of help people with random Word applications or just any sort of software problems that they were having, QuickBooks. We kind of just did it all. It was just like, tech help on demand is what we did. So, that worked great for a while, and then, during the beginnings of the big downturn, we started having problems with getting paid. People were paying, real late. 60, 90, 120, 180 even sometimes days, and there was a couple times that we didn't get paid. Sometimes I got stiffed, and I realized that I wasn't going to do very well like that. So I kind of started noticing a pattern in technology of how more and more consumers were using it, and at this time I was working with AT&T, and I was just a regular old sales rep for them in San Dimas, California, and we started selling some smartphones, and I got interested because I was already interested in the computer racket and all that. So I decided to, kind of become the guy. And in my store, I was the guy for smartphones and things like that. And when people had questions about them, they'd be like, "Oh, go see Eric," So I kind of got that rep. And then soon enough, after a while, there were people coming from other stores and people from the company sending people in to me to, do things like configure Outlook and through their HP iPad smartphone. This is all before the iPhone, before most of the smartphones we know today, even before the Sidekick and texting. So so that was what I did, and I was doing my computer stuff on the side, and all that was going great. And then I left AT&T, and I tried to look for a job in the networking field and was unable to find a job in the networking field. I went to numerous interviews. I think it was, if I can remember back then, I believe I went to somewhere in the 20s, 20-something interviews, and then I gave up. And that's not something that I normally do, is give up, but in that sense, I was burnt. I was very, very burnt. I was tired of getting shot down. I I'm you know, I was educated, I was smart, I was willing to work, I was going to be dependable. I'm a dependable person, I've always been. So, you know, those types of things are what you look for in an employee. And when I was getting shot down so much, I got very, very discouraged and, you know, very down on myself, and it was a bad time, and, you know, just things that weren't working out for me. And so I decided, you know, I just don't want to work for anyone again. And, you know, it's just, you know, one of those things where I just had no faith left in the regular workplace, and no faith left in people, and I just didn't want to rely on anyone else. And so I started my own business, and I decided from that day forward that I was going to work towards getting a retail store, and that was the future and the way of how things were going to be. And I just wanted to help people and do the same things that I was doing at AT&T and the same things that I was doing for myself on the side. And I wanted to kind of blend those things together and make a business out of it. And at that time, there were really not too many businesses like ours. There were not even some of these big businesses that now have over 200 stores. We started in 2009 in the retail environment, and we were doing stuff a little bit before that. At one point, I was actually taking game consoles from people, working out of my home, and mobily driving to people's homes, grabbing their Xboxes and their PlayStations, driving them 40 miles away in LA traffic to a guy who could repair them, even though I couldn't myself. And I was getting these things repaired for these people, and just kind of liaisoning that service. And that was like the beginnings of, you know, putting all the services together. And that was, I'm sure I wasn't the first person in the world to think of that, but there definitely wasn't a business around me in my immediate area for miles and miles and miles, or anywhere that I knew of, that did it, did everything in one roof. And so what I mean by that is like fixing phones, game consoles, tablets, computers, being able to network and consult, building computers, buy, sell, and trade, selling protection plans, all those things wrapped into one big business under a small roof. And so that was the goal that we set out to do, and we have done it, and we've been doing it for 7-8 glorious years almost now. So, and we still love it, still what I want to wake up to every day, and we're still going. So anyway, to continue my story, so I saw the pattern in the people and realized that was the way that it was going to go, and the people were going to have a lot of technology in their homes. And, you know, until we actually got into it, I never dreamed of how many technology devices that people were going to actually have in their home. And you know, it was a great thing that I saw that pattern, and it worked out for us. And you know, but things weren't always peachy keen at first. You know, we had our first store was in a terrible location, and nobody knew where we were. Nobody knew what we did, and I didn't have really any money to advertise, so I kind of had to just do, you know, guerrilla things and talk to people and network, you know, like that, and just get the word out and do good work and do good by people and not rip people off, and, you know, make sure that we were getting good reviews and things like that. And we did that. For a long time, we had probably in our area the most reviews, until people started cheating and buying them and giving away things for people to leave reviews and things like that. And we were one of the highest reviewed companies around, and it still really didn't do it. You know, it didn't bring us to the promised land. Didn't make it really profitable, other than, you know, we didn't have to work for anyone else, and you know, we got to do what we wanted. So that part's great, and we still love that. And you know, just like a pro baseball player, most of those guys would play whether they were getting paid or not. It's the same thing to me. If I wasn't making a great living, but I was just able to sustain my life, and I didn't make $1 over that, I'd still do it. So, because that's how much I love doing what we do and helping people, and putting smiles on people's faces, especially when it's little stuff that we get to send them on their way with no charge. And that's like the most fulfilling thing in the world, because I know that there's so many other places that would take advantage of those people, and they would really run them through the mill on those. So that's what we do. That's who we are. That's why I named the company Rockstar Computers, was because I knew that we were going to go in, kill it for people, and get the job done quickly and get out, and everybody will love us for it. And that's exactly what we do. And we are the opposite of most of the companies that do what we do. And so we're just kind of making these videos to kind of let people know, you know, how we operate, what we do. You know, it's at that time in our life cycle where, you know, we're doing great, but we can always do better. And, you know, maybe somebody that's already used us doesn't know anything about us or our backstory or whatever. You know, we tell it to a lot of people that ask, but some people probably don't ask. So, you know, here it is. So anyway, back to my story. I'm long-winded, sorry. So yeah, so we're sitting about, you know, end of 2009 or so. You know, things aren't the greatest, and I was in a relationship with someone at the time, and everything seemed like it was going great, and then, you know, here in like we opened the store in 2010, and in the beginning of 2010, and I was very, very busy. I definitely could not pay attention to a lot of things. I was super stressed out, never had opened a business in my life, didn't know how much it took, but I'm a finisher, I'm a grinder, and I don't leave things alone, I guess, when they're festering. And so when I feel like something's festering, I'm gonna always go after it, chase after it, you know, and fix it, solve that problem. So, you know, I was in a relationship, and you know, the business came really first, and it was unfortunate it didn't work out, and you know, no harm done. Learned a lesson, you know, obviously to take care of your homestead while you're doing some things, but I felt that it was necessary back then while I was in it to just take care of the business, and that's it. And so, in any case, we pressed on business-wise, and in probably late 2010 was when me and my ex split, and it was a really bad time for me, dark time, and I wasn't doing so well, and that even played a part in the business. You know, I was so down and depressed that I couldn't even get motivated to put on regular clothes while I was working and stuff. It was actually a really weird and bad. It was a weird and bad time. But then I had some, you know, I've always throughout my life, you know, had good friends, and some of my friends, you know who you are, picked me up, took me out, got me out, you know, got me feeling good again, and I decided to put my hat in the ring with online dating. And so, okay, you know, online dating, let's see what happens with that. So I put a profile on a website called OkCupid, and it was a new website at the time, and I had heard about some others like Plenty of Fish and all those others, and those websites were seeming to be more for casual encounters and things that I wasn't interested in. I was looking for a relationship, and I wanted to, I definitely wanted to be with someone and live that type of lifestyle and settle down and stuff. And so I went to that website and put up a profile, answered a bunch of questions, and I found, a girl found me, and her name is Amber, and she's going to soon, after this video, be my wife here, coming up in September. And so but she found me, we went on a date, hit it off, and the rest is history. We had 2 beautiful children together now, and we're gonna get married this September. So yeah, happy about that, super excited. And but in going back to the business, is that by we I mean me and Ramsey. So Ramsey, my right hand man, the first guy that we ever that worked in the store with me, and so we worked together from the beginning, starting in 2010, and we at the time that I was just first hanging out with Amber, and everything was going so well. The business started to pick up because I wasn't being lazy or whatever. I was back motivated again. I had my motivation in life again, and so everything was really great, and we just carried on, and there kind of is a lot of things that happened in the middle of there. There were some trials, some tribulations, some tests, definitely some tests, but we worked through it all, and we got to about a time where our lease was going to be up. We had about 28 months in or so, and then I decided, me and Ramsey talked it over, and we decided that we were going to move. And Ramsey found us a great location near his home in Upland, and that was my hometown, and where I had a lot of connections and a lot of just knowledge about the area. And so we moved in October of 2012, and I'm sorry, it might have been 2013. I think it's 2013 maybe. So no, maybe it was 2012. Yeah, I think it was 2012. So we moved in 2012 up to the colonies in Upland, California, and into a little shack, and that was a crazy thing. It was a crazy time. Amber was pregnant with our first child, and we were scheduled to open up all the way fully in December. So we were open and we were doing business, but we didn't have our grand opening. We were having our grand opening on my daughter's birthday, basically. So or the day after. And so we did that, and everything was kind of the same. We were kind of getting worried a little bit, and then we just kept doing good work, kept asking for referrals, kept giving away tiny little services for nothing when we didn't need to charge. We didn't, just doing good work. So kept doing that, and then all of a sudden, bingo bango, started doing stuff for the city, for the mayor, for the police department, for the fire department, for just anywhere you could think of, we were doing it. All the stores were bringing us stuff for their friends and family and sending people our way, and it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful thing. And it's been going very well there for all these years. And so now we're at 2017, and we're still doing great there, and people still love us, and still doing great. So in 2014, we were doing good at Upland, and I decided to open another store. And this was just something that me and Ramsey had talked about, but Ramsey wasn't really into it. We had also brought on another guy, Albrecht, our second in command in California, and we brought him on, and he was working in Upland for a little while, and then we didn't really quite have enough work for us three to work, and so I was like, well, if I open another store, we can kind of grow and grow into it, and so I decided to do that, and we got Albert his store, and about 2 months after we moved to Laverne, California, which is where Albert works, in our Laverne store, I got Albert trained in the ways that I thought we'd be all right and be good, and then I decided to head out. So towards the end of that year, I decided to, or actually in the middle of 2014, I decided I was going to head out and move to the Boise, Idaho area, and come here and raise my family, and I wasn't necessarily going to do anything else. I know it seems like it was a strange decision, but it is. It was a strange decision to most, because if from the outside looking in, I definitely would think it was strange. But I just decided to move up here. My father lived up here. That was a determining factor, but not the determining factor. I just saw it as a very, very nice place to live, and I had the, gracious opportunity to come here because of my father and be able to see the area and see what was going on and the growth, and that the like-minded people and things like that, that are just family oriented and all about, kids and living the good life and being straight and not, partying away and types of things like that. And there were just lots of people here that were like that, and it was a slower way of life, and that's what I wanted for me and my family. So we came up here in January of 15, and I was just remote managing the stores with Ramsey in Upland and Albert in Laverne, and I would remote manage them. I had cameras and phones that we had intercom systems with, and we just communicated back and forth all day long, and it was pretty much just like I was there. There really wasn't too much of a difference. The only thing is that I wasn't customer facing. I was kind of like the guy, in the game, what's that game with all the cases? Deal or No Deal. It was like that. I was like the guy up in the suite with the tinted windows. Just nobody saw me, but I was still there and very aware of everything that was happening. So managed it like that, and everything was, again, very, very testy times, testy waters, but I made sure that I stayed home before I left and kind of tested the waters before I left to see if we could do it, and we passed the test of that. So when I came up, it was fine, and we were good to go, and we, did everything that we needed to do, and everything was going okay. There wasn't any, huge problems other than we were still short-staffed and things like that. So, we decided to bring other people in, and so we brought a counter person in, and we've had a couple counter people since then, up to today. We actually just brought one back recently, which is pretty exciting too, because he kind of knows our flow of things, and he could hit the ground running and just learn all the new practices and things that we're doing now. And and he'll be good to go. So happy to have him back. That's Lafayette, so we have him back in Upland, and Albert's still over in Laverne, and I'm up here in Meridian. And so after we came to right about 5 or 6 months I was here, I got bored. So I got bored, and then I also was meeting people and things like that, and the people that I was meeting asked me what I did, and I told them and explained to them what I did, and then they would, ask me, oh, could you fix this, could you fix that, and there's certain things that I can't fix, so I don't really get into the internals of the phones myself. So I would tell them, like, yeah, I could fix that, but I can't really fix it. So I can find someone to fix it for you. So I go around trying to fix it with other people and seeing if they could fix things. And there was kind of like nobody around that really like caught my eye and struck me as like a good business. And it seemed like everybody was kind of either overcharging, being shady, doing things like that. And so I was like, well, the need's here, so I'm gonna open a store. So I opened a store, and very, very testy here. We just recently kind of hit the numbers that we like to see in a store to keep it open, and that's after about a year and a half. So it took us a very, very long time in this market to kind of break through and get a really, really good business flow and we had to do a lot of advertising. We did something we never did before, was we did a lot of radio advertising. We did print advertising. We did tons of things that we never did in California, never had to, because of our word of mouth there was that great. So, but new market, new people, and we had to gain the public's trust once again. So we've done that now. We're here, absolutely killing it again, up here. And so we are going to be looking to do some expansion here, whether it be in the mobile service industry, where we'll drive around and do some repairs for companies and people, or we might open some more stores. Never know. So that's kind of where we're at. That's our backstory. To sum it all up, we did it, for ourselves, for our family, to not have to work for anywhere again where you just got fired at the drop of a hat, or having to go look for jobs or whatever. We felt that it was better to invest the time in ourselves than to invest the time for someone else, and so that's what we did. And then lastly is that we always had a thing in our a mentality that if we worked hard and we did right by people, that we'd be successful, and then the money would come later. So, and that's kind of how it happened. We grinded for a long time. We didn't really make money. We stayed alive. We paid our bills, and we were able to do it the next day. And that was the goal for the short term. And then that became a longer term position. And there are definitely some things I wish I could do over. Definitely wish I could have gotten funding at the very beginning. Who knows? We could have been one of those huge companies that has 200 stores by now. But we have 3, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm happy for that, and I'm happy that every day I get to wake up, go into my own business, and help people all day long. All day long, that's what I get to do. And so, and it helps me raise my family in a great place, and I'm very thankful for that, very thankful to God for that, very thankful to my family for suffering, very thankful to Ramsey, very thankful to Albert, very thankful to Ramsey's family, very thankful to Albert's family. He's got a little boy now, and married, and that's all, what we're about. So that's our history in 30 minutes. I love you. Thank you for supporting us for all this time. And we're going to be making some more videos. I know this was a long one. If you watch this whole thing, if you really watch the whole thing, I'll make a video code called history, and it'll get you $10 off any repair. And I know you could skip to the bottom, to the end of the video, but I'm going to keep talking for a few minutes, so that way if you skip to the end of the video, maybe you'll miss the coupon if you didn't really watch it. See, I'm smart like that. I'm sneaky. Don't underestimate my sneakiness. Who else do I need to thank? I want to thank again, my family, my mom, my dad, my grandparents for instilling in me hard work, dedication, doing right by people, being honest, being straight, straight shooting. Like to thank an old friend of mine for kind of kicking me in the rear to go to college and further education. I could have never done this on my high school education. I definitely needed higher education. I didn't really need all of it, but I needed to get in the mindset of learning again and wanting to learn and continually wanting to learn. And that's a big thing for you, any of you college kids out there. If you're in it, you're out it. I don't recommend it for business, but if you're going to be a doctor, dentist, lawyer, things like that, you got to go to school. If you don't know a lot of people, or you're not a people person, you don't like to network with people, you probably got to go to school. But if you're just a business person, I really encourage you to believe in yourself and just do the right thing and see how well doing the right thing, hard work and dedication get you. See where that gets you. All right. Love you all. See you on the next one.